short, now heaven knows anything goes.
Wait, hold on. Anything goes? Isn't that what's been happening in America for some time now? I think more and more Americans are waking up to this absurdity, and it shows by the overwhelming response we're getting with new volunteers. We hear and see you believe COS is the solution, as big as the problem. So thank you, and let's keep growing this grassroots army. Our vision is to build a strong, engaged army of self-governing activists, and our mission statement is to restore self-governance by recruiting, training, and deploying citizen activists to engage in all levels of government. So, if you've had enough of anything goes, join us every Monday at 7 p.m. as our state director and host, Dale Parrish, will show you how we can actually make a difference by using the Constitution to save the Constitution and our country. So join us now for Indiana Live.
Well, thank you, Marengo Mike, for that introduction. Good evening, folks. My name is Dale Parrish. I am the state director for Convention of States here in Indiana. I want to welcome you to our broadcast this evening. We've had a little program change that I want to make you aware of. We were scheduled to have one of our new district captains on as a guest this evening, but we've had a little change. We had some problems with that. So we're going to be bringing on a little different guest this evening. I'll get to that in just a moment, okay? But I just wanted to let you know that ahead of time. Now, I do want to say before we get started here that where the broadcast is coming to you through our state Facebook page, Convention of States, Indiana. Now, we have for some time now offered an alternative viewing option, and that's that we are now live streaming the broadcast through our YouTube channel, COS Indiana. So if you want an alternative method of viewing our broadcast, that's it. Go to our YouTube channel, COS Indiana. Now, while you're there on the YouTube channel, if that's your option, be sure to press that subscribe button and become a subscriber to the YouTube channel. And that'll then you'll be updated and notified of any upcoming events that we are posting on our YouTube channel. Now, I also want to remind you that a few weeks ago, we started the COS Indiana Live podcast. Now, the podcast is in effect the audio portion of our Monday evening broadcast. So the audio portion of this evening's broadcast, we will then post as a podcast. And let me tell you, once again, it's COS Indiana Live Podcast. And you can find that by going to anchor.fm/Dale-Parrish and the number 8. So if you go to that address, if you're looking for the podcast, that's where you'll find it. All right. Anchor.fm/Dale-Parrish and the number 8. It's for our podcast. All right. Let me then briefly tell you about the segments of our broadcast this evening coming up. Now, as I mentioned in this first segment, this is our interview segment. I mentioned earlier we had one of our new district captains scheduled to come on this evening, but we ran into some problems. So I decided to take advantage of the opportunity, and we're going to bring on John Ackerman, our Master of Ceremonies, for our upcoming roundtable meeting, which will be next Monday evening on this broadcast. And we'll talk about that much more this evening. So this is really going to be a good thing. We're really excited about doing this. So we're going to be devoting on the fourth Monday of every month, we're going to devote the full broadcast to a roundtable meeting. When we say a roundtable meeting, we're basically talking about a virtual town hall meeting. but we're going to call it a roundtable meeting. And when I bring John on here very shortly, we'll talk about what we're going to do in the meeting, why we're doing it, some other information. So anyway, and we'll be talking some more about the roundtable meeting as the broadcast goes on this evening. So that'll be in our first segment, in the interview segment this evening. Now, in the second segment, the information segment, I'll bring up my PowerPoint and we'll go through some general information about what we're trying to do here in Indiana and Convention of States, what our mission statement is, what some of our objectives are that we're trying to accomplish here in 2021. Give you an idea of some resources that we have available to us. So just some general information. Now, normally I also, in this segment, I also give viewers a peek at what we have planned for our next broadcast the following week. I've already told you what we're going to be doing, and that's going to be the roundtable meeting. So that's, but that we'll mention it again in this segment, in the information segment. So that'll be the second segment. In the third segment, then, if we have any viewer comments or questions, we'll get those on the screen. We'll do our best to do that. I see we're already getting a couple comments, so we'll bring those up in this segment and address those as best we can. Now, in the fourth segment, I call this the contributor segment. Now, normally, see, we have certain individuals that we've identified as COS Indiana Live contributors. And we've asked these individuals to prepare a short video tape of something that's on your mind. Generally, these are individuals in Convention of States here in Indiana that have strong opinions or like to talk about certain topics. So we'll have them give us a short video on on a particular topic that's of interest to them. Now, tonight, since we're talking very much about the roundtable meeting coming up next Monday, I'm going to play for you one of our promotional videos that will promote this roundtable meeting coming up next Monday. So instead of a contributor in this segment tonight, we have a promo. So we're going to show that to you this evening in the contributors segment. So that'll be the fourth segment. Then in the final segment, I call this the invitation segment. And in this segment, we'll kind of wrap things up, give you a little bit more information about Convention of States. And then I'm going to invite you to join us here in Convention of States in Indiana. And I'm going to show you how to do that and why it's important that you come on board with us. So that will be in the invitation segment where we invite you to join us here in Convention of States in Indiana. So that's what we have planned for tonight's broadcast. So without further ado, let's bring on John and let's get into our first segment in the interview segment. And there the young man is, John Aukerman. Hi, John.
Hi, Dale. Good to see you.
Glad to have you this evening. Thanks for coming on this evening. So you have been given the honor of being the master of ceremonies at our upcoming roundtable meeting. You ever been a master of ceremonies, John?
Well, I think when we played pin the tail on the donkey when I was 10 years old, maybe. But it is quite an honor. You know, I'm going to have business cards printed with MC after my name.
All right. Now, John, you were in your varied career. You were a minister, right?
Yeah. I went to seminary right after college and graduated with a Master of Divinity degree and eventually got ordained. And I was a pastor of one church in Indiana, Logansport, to be specific.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then I went south to West Virginia. Wild, wonderful West Virginia, almost heaven,
Okay.
You know. Spent 7 really good years there. And then I came back and I live in Anderson, Indiana now, where I was a seminary professor for 32 years,
Okay.
training young men and women for the ministry.
Well, as a minister of a church, you were a master of ceremonies, weren't you?
Sort of, but that title was never put on me.
No, they didn't use that title. No. All right. Well, so you're the MC, John. And so, John, tell us what's the objective that we're trying to accomplish with this roundtable meeting?
Well, the big idea is to open the door to new people, to take the message of Convention of States to people who haven't heard of us before, and to let them know who we are and what we're doing, and to invite them to come and join us. So that's the major objective, carrying this message to new folks. Okay.
We call it a roundtable meeting. It's really basically a virtual town hall meeting. Is another way to phrase it. So we talk about this in our planning. What's our target audience? What's our target audience? And that's just like you said, the target audience would be those individuals that are not part of Convention of States at this point in time, right?
Yep.
Okay. And, I don't know about your experience, John, but my experience is there are still people that are not aware of Convention of States, not aware of what this is all about.
Nationwide, we have 2.2 million who've signed our petition, but there's 330 million people in the country. So go figure. I would say most people have not heard of this. So we've got an exciting message, and we got to get the word out.
Yes, you're right. You're right. So it's a continuous effort on our part in Convention of States, and that's to grow the grassroots, right? Grow that grassroots army, because it will be so important to the success of our organization.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, John, now, if I understand right, we've got the meeting is now. How long are we anticipating the meeting to last?
Well, probably 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
We if it's too short, we won't get enough good information out there. If it's too long, we're going to lose viewers, and so we want to keep it under an hour for sure.
Okay.
And we do thank you for turning over one Monday night a month from your COS Indiana Live to the round table, and it's gonna be really cool, and we do appreciate you giving up that time slot, fourth Monday of each month.
Well, I think that's gonna work out very well, and I think it's going to give us the ability to get this message out to more platforms than the way we were going to do it previously. So
yep.
So I think it's going to work out good. Well, we've kind of divided the meeting up into four segments, but
four. Three big ones and one little one.
Three big ones. Well, the little one is the punchline, is the big one. So let's talk about let's give a little overview on the different segments. So let's talk about the first segment.
Yeah, in the first segment each month, we have a rotation of topics. Through the year, we'll have a different topic each month, but our topic for June is to introduce our viewers to the Indiana region captains. Okay. Now, what's a region captain? Well, these are volunteers, people like you and me. We don't get paid to do this.
That's right. We're all volunteers in this, aren't we?
We do it because we believe in it. But these are people who've stepped up to the plate, and they've taken on a level of responsibility that's above and beyond the rank and file. And we have 9 regions in Indiana that roughly correspond to our 9 congressional districts. We have 9 representatives in the House in Washington, D.C. And for each of those congressional districts, roughly speaking, we have an Indiana Convention of States region. And we have 7 wonderful women and men who've stepped up, and they're captaining those 9 regions. Now, your viewers can tune in next week to find out who they are. and how we cover 9 regions with only 7 people. It's a mind-blowing thing.
Well, and hopefully very soon we'll have a region captain in each one of the regions. And we'll have
Okay.
nine.
That's one of the things we want to do. We want to develop new leaders. And,
Right.
Up to the number 9, the more the merrier.
Now, in each one of these regions, we won't get too far into the weeds here, but in each one of these regions, there are House districts.
Yep.
Right. And we're organized around these House districts.
Yeah,
and
that's the Indiana House of Representatives, those districts. Yeah.
Okay. So, and there's 100 of those, right?
Yeah, isn't that something? Our state is divided into 100 roughly equal population districts, and each district sends one representative to the State House for the General Assembly every year.
All right. So, contained in each region will be a number of districts, and
Right.
those numbers can vary anywhere from about 10 to 15 or so districts within a particular region. So
yeah, it just depends on how many people live in each region, and the districts are divided. So and, that's all going to change this year with redistricting, because the 2020 census and our state legislature is going to meet this fall to set the new districts, and all those are going to jumble around at least a little bit. It'll be interesting to see what shakes out of the salt shaker.
That's going to be a job. But so our region captains play a very critical role, and I think they're becoming more and more important as we get more district captains on board. So
and each region captain is responsible to nurture and cultivate and activate the grassroots through all these district captains. It's a pretty good line and staff relationship. It gets the work done in some amazing ways.
And our at our next roundtable in July, which is July 26th, we're in fact going to be talking about district captains.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to meet a few of them. We can't bring 100 of them on.
I can't bring them all on, but we're gonna pick out some of our better ones. Well, they're all good. I shouldn't say that.
Well, the ones who have the best jokes to tell. Okay.
Okay.
As you can tell, I'm a rather jovial person. I did play Santa Claus once. It was fun.
Did you really?
Ho ho ho.
I've been asked to do that. I was asked to do that one time, and I chickened out.
Dale.
I should have done that.
You're breaking my heart.
Anyway, okay, that'll be in segment 1.
Yeah.
All right. Then in segment 2, tell us about this segment, John.
Well, each month, the segment 2 is going to be devoted to education. Now, I don't mean K through 12 or higher education, college, or anything like that. I mean educating the public, because one of the key things that's missing here is people don't know the Constitution. I never read the Constitution till I was like in my 50s or 60s, something like that.
Me too.
And so we need to educate the public about the Constitution and how this republic is supposed to work, and how far off track we've gotten, and what we see as the only solution to that problem. In fact, we like to say we have the solution that's as big as the problem. And so in the education segment each month, we're going to introduce our viewers to the educational resources that are available. And in June, next Monday night at 7 o'clock, segment 2, we're going to focus on this thing called COS University, which is a really cool thing. I mean, it's free. You go there, you sign up for it, and you can take a course. Constitutional basics, what is the Fifth Amendment and how does it work, and all of those kinds of things. There's, 3, 4, 5 courses available for free to the general public on COS University. And we'll be going into some detail on that next Monday night. And I think our viewers are going to be very interested in that university thing. And it's a free university, man.
Yeah.
Free, no tuition.
We were talking in preparation for this broadcast tonight. John and I have been around with Convention of States almost since its inception. John, I think you've been with the COS a little longer than me.
I came in the late summer, early fall of 2014.
Okay, I came in a little bit later than you,
Yeah, but you
but we
rose to the
didn't.
top, man.
But we didn't have
No,
a COS university back then, did we?
no, it wasn't there. No,
Yeah.
the corporate knowledge, I like to call it, was contained in documents that were scattered all around the COS website. And I don't know who, but our national leaders, uh, pulled all this good stuff together and made these online courses, and they're terrific.
Yes.
I can't wait to share them with our viewers next week.
It's a it's the now we have a lot of resources available to us.
Yeah,
But this is definitely the premier, I think, resource that we have available.
it certainly is. It's the
Okay.
Cadillac.
That's in segment 2. Now, here's in the final, well, the segment 3. This is not the final segment, but in segment 3, kind of a catchy title for segment 3. I wonder who thought that up.
Well, it might be a guy who's wearing a black golf cap
It might
who
be.
thought that up.
It's called I Want to Know. So
Yeah.
tell us about that segment.
Well, there's a lot of things the general public wants to know about this. What is Article 5? Why do we want to have a convention of states? How will it work? How do you get an amendment ratified? How does it become part of the Constitution? Is it a safe thing to do? When I was in elementary school, my first memory of learning any civics, we learned about the Constitution, at least on a surface level. But I remember my teacher saying, now, there can be a convention to propose amendments, but it's never been tried because they're afraid that it would run away and do away with all the freedoms that we have. And so a lot of people in the public have a legitimate question. Is a convention of states safe? Can there possibly be a runaway convention and ruin the country that we have? Little secret, the answer is nope, can't happen. We'll get into that. I think maybe next Monday night we're going to have a panel, and you're on it, Dale.
That's right. I'm on it.
And there's about 4 or 5 others who are on our state executive leadership team, and they're going to be on the panel, and I'm going to be firing these questions at them. And I think I'm going to throw that one at you guys. Is it going to be safe? Is it safe to do, or do we stand, in danger of losing our freedoms? The first, second, third, fourth, fifth amendment, those things. So that's the whole idea there. People want to know stuff. And so we're going to pose some of those questions. I might write some of them myself. We might pull some from our resources. We might even have opportunity for viewers to post questions. And if a good one comes up, man, I'm going to throw it at you. I'll try to throw you a curveball.
So this ought to be a very interesting segment. Yep.
I think it will be. And it'll have that round table feel, even though on the screen here it's going to be a bunch of little rectangles.
Yeah.
But it'll have that round table feel because it'll be kind of an open discussion.
It would be neat if we could get everybody in a circle on this and give it a kind of a round table.
Well, you talk to your computer programmer and see if you can do that.
I don't know how that would work right now. Tell us, John, what we're gonna see in the final segment then.
Yeah, it's the fourth and final and the shortest segment. We're going to take 10, 12, 15 minutes on each of the first 3 segments. But here at the very end of the roundtable, I'm going to tell our viewers how they can join this mighty movement, grassroots army of citizen activists, which I already said there's already 2.2 million Americans who've signed on. I'm going to tell our viewers how they can join the Convention of States, add their name to the list, and also how they can volunteer, because we have a lot of work that needs to get done right here in our state. And we have a lot of volunteer openings. And so I'm going to show them how they can volunteer for Convention of States. Going to open the door and say, come on in, you guys. If you believe in limited government and fiscal responsibility and things like that, here's where you join up and here's how you do it. So that'll be the final segment of the roundtable.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, listen, I've got a couple comments here that I want to, let me get rid of that banner. Got a couple comments here that I wanted to show you. John. Here's one from a young lady named Diane Phoenix. I'm going to invite several people I know to come next week. So that's
Thank
what
you,
we like.
Diane.
Yeah, that's what we like to hear, right?
That's encouraging. We'd like to have a record-size audience.
Okay, now this one's from, this is kind of, I guess he got it all in. This is from our events coordinator, Rick Lyon.
Rick's a good guy.
Yeah, with his wife, Susan, lurking in the background.
LOL.
Looking forward to a roundtable, 7 p.m. next Monday. We encourage all 56,000 COS Indiana members to attend and anyone curious about COS to ask questions. So
yeah, wouldn't that be something if we had 56,000 viewers? We might crash your computer.
I think so.
A record setter. Thanks, Rick.
And Patrick Romack, he goes by Patrick, says hello all. So
hello, Patrick. I don't know you, but obviously Dale does.
Yeah. He helps George out with our grassroots coordinator
great
effort. So
great.
He's a district captain. So so thanks, Patrick, for tuning in this evening.
Yes, indeed.
Well, John, that's pretty much it for this evening. And I want to thank you once again for volunteering to be the master of ceremonies at our roundtable meeting. And I think we're all looking forward to having a great meeting on next Monday evening.
Yep. And I'm going to spend the next 7 days sharpening up my questions to throw at you guys.
Boy, I'm getting kind of nervous now, John.
you better be shaking in your boots, buddy.
John may throw something unanticipated at us. I don't know. All right, John.
I don't think so, but I'm looking forward to it. It'll be great.
Thank you, John. Have a good evening, bud.
Okay. Good night.
See you. Good night. John Ackerman. Very, very, very good man. John's been with Convention of States, like he said, since 2014. John has served in various leadership roles with Convention of States here in Indiana. So John is very knowledgeable about what we're all about, and I just thought he would be the perfect person to be the master of ceremonies for our roundtable meeting. So hope you enjoyed that interview with John Ackerman. All right, let's get now into the next segment here, which is our information segment. And I'm going to bring up my PowerPoint here, and we'll kind of zip through this. Our interview with John went a little long, so we'll kind of move along here. Our vision statement here in Indiana is the same as the national vision statement, which is to build a strong, engaged army of self-governing activists. Once again, this is what our roundtable meeting is all about, is bringing on more and more people into our grassroots to help build that engaged army of self-governing activists. That's what we're trying to do. Our mission statement here in Indiana is to restore self-governance by recruiting, training, and deploying citizen activists to engage in all levels of government. So that's what our mission statement here is in Indiana. Now, we've set forth for 2021, we've set forth certain objectives that we wanted to specifically accomplish here in Indiana. I won't go through each of these in detail, but we're coming very close to realizing all of these objectives. We're growing the number of supporters. We're getting more and more young people involved. You heard John talk about the region captains. We've got 6 on board right now. We're very close to getting that 7th one, and we're going to be meeting those region captains at our roundtable meeting next Monday evening. District captains, call to action program, that's the legislative work that we did earlier this year, and of course the education program. So those are all objectives that we're trying to accomplish here in 2021. Resources that we have available to us here in Indiana. Our main resource is our national website, conventionofstates.com. You're going to hear us mention many times this website. It has a wealth of information, And on the back end of the website, which you wouldn't see, but on the back end is the tools that we have to administer our state. So conventionofstates.com, national website. Now, embedded in that national website is our state website page, conventionofstates.com/Indiana. Social media platforms, the main platform, Facebook, our state Facebook page, Convention of States, Indiana. Also, the YouTube channel, you've heard us mention that this evening. That YouTube channel, not only are we live streaming through that YouTube channel, but the YouTube channel is very much an educational resource for anyone. And we have a number of items on that YouTube channel for you to utilize from an educational standpoint. I might mention a couple podcasts that we have available through the YouTube channel. Of course, the COS Indiana Live podcast that I mentioned. Then we also have a podcast that our legislative liaison, Paul Phillips, does called the Free to Be Free podcast. So Paul does a great job on that podcast. We're also on Parler. We'll post recordings of our Monday evening broadcast on Parler at D.O. Parish, Instagram, Twitter. So we also, I want to mention that we produce a state newsletter every month. And folks, our newsletter team just does a very, very professional job with this newsletter. I encourage you, once you become a supporter, that you opt in to receiving emails, and you will then receive each month this state newsletter, just jam-packed full of information, and they do a terrific, terrific job. Upcoming events right now, the main one we're trying to focus on is the roundtable meeting that you've heard us talking about so far this evening. Next Monday evening, the 28th, 7 p.m., right here, right where you are right now. That's the COS Virtual Roundtable Meeting. So look forward to seeing all of you at that time. Once again, next broadcast, June 28th, COS Indiana Roundtable. All right, so that is all we have in the information segment of this evening. Now, I would normally go to viewer comments. Let me see if we got any more comments here. I had picked out the ones for John. Looks like that's pretty much it for comments this evening. So we will move on to then our next segment, which is the contributor segment. And as I mentioned, I'm going to play you a promotional video that our state communications coordinator, Ken Kashuba, prepared as a promo for the upcoming town hall meeting on the 28th. So I want to play that for you this evening. Here we go.
Hey, do you think there's some things that need to be addressed and fixed?
Well, yeah. I mean, we're big. My husband and I are huge proponents of capitalism. We've owned our own business a couple different times and are fully supportive of capitalism, not socialism.
Do you feel things like term limits, fiscal responsibility, and federal overreach, are those a couple of issues that you would like to see addressed?
Yeah, term limits for sure. Sure. I mean, the president can only be elected twice. Our elected representatives should be elected no more than twice. Then they should go back and we should have somebody fresh. They should not be there for 20 years or 30 years or 40 years. And I forget the other question. Career politicians. You basically hit it. Federal overreach, which I'm sure as a business owner you're concerned about. You don't need the government telling you what to eat, how to do it, when to do it, and how much to charge for it. Exactly.
All right. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that promo. I think it's very, very good. And once again, just reminding everyone of the upcoming town hall or virtual town hall meeting that we're going to be doing, the roundtable meeting next Monday evening. Well, let's move on in now to our last segment, the invitation segment. And I've been told that this is such a good video that I'm going to play it again, and it kind of sets the tone for what we're trying to the message we're trying to get across to everyone with Convention of States. So let me go ahead and get this started, and hopefully you will enjoy this.
Talk about Congress. Hey, Congress is full of people who don't know what the hell they're doing, but want to control your lives.
The longer they stay in, the more connected they become to special interests, and special interests are destroying our nation.
They give each other what they want, and they stick the taxpayer with the bill.
What's going to happen to the millennials? Unfunded liabilities plus debt now is $144 trillion.
Politicians come in and say they're going to change it, and they never, ever do.
We're not going to surrender the greatest country on the face of the earth and turn it into another failed European experiment.
The question is today, will we use the Constitution to save the Constitution?
Our framers in particular foresaw that this day would come.
The Peach State is making history. Lawmakers passed a preliminary measure today for a convention of states.
The Missouri House passed a measure calling for a convention of states.
The Convention of States.
The Article 5 Convention of States.
Convention of States.
Convention of States.
Convention of the States.
How does the Convention of States?
Convention of the States.
The Convention of States.
Convention of States.
The States Project.
Mark Meckler. Now you run a group trying to build a movement. You're saying the work is being done across this country to get to that 34 state threshold, and whether Washington wants it or not, the people hold a convention to limit the powers of the federal government.
It's right there in Article 5.
Article 5 of the Constitution was included by the founders for this exact time.
Where Washington would so depart from our principles
that only we, the people, could cut it down to size. So I think it may well take a convention to wake them up.
I've been a longtime supporter of the Convention of States to reestablish the sort of guiding principles of the Constitution.
The Convention of the States empowers the people of America to get some things done that they've long wanted.
By using Article 5 of the Constitution, we can pursue reforms such as a balanced budget amendment.
It's term limits on Congress, term limits on judges, and a balanced budget amendment for America.
It's becoming 11th state to call for a convention to limit federal government power.
The Arkansas House passed a resolution that calls for a convention of states.
30 states, Steve, 30, have either passed it in their state legislature or are actively considering it. So there is a pathway to that number.
This literally nothing like this has been done in American history.
If you want to put government back in check, it's only going to be us, the people, do it.
And so this is the last chance I think we, the people, have to get back in the control of the constitutional reins of our republic.
Inspire them to make sure that we pass on a better America.
That is the next revolution we need.
No, we have to do this.
Governor Greg Abbott is calling for more states to get on board with a push for a convention of states.
Tomorrow we're going to work to make sure that we add the 13th, 14th, 15th, all the way up to the 34th state.
A year, 10 years, 100 years, whatever it takes.
If the federal government won't do it, then we will.
Go to conventionofstates.com.
All right, folks. Thank you very much. That hope you enjoyed that video. I every time I watch that, I enjoy it so much. Just kind of reinvigorates me to remember and think about, the things that we're really trying to accomplish here in Convention of States. And I want to bring up my PowerPoint again here, just to kind of close out things here. I consider these the basics of Convention of States. And you can find much more information, much more thorough information about these basics at our national website. You heard me mention this earlier, conventionofstates.com. And click on the menu selection resources. And here you can find a wealth of information, many, many articles about Convention of States. But the basics are that we see a problem in our federal government. We have defined a problem that we see in the three basic critical items that we see as part of the problem: the national debt, the overreach and extent of the federal government, and term limits. So those are the three areas that we have defined as the problem. What's the solution? The solution is calling for a convention of states for the purpose of proposing amendments to the Constitution that would address these problems. Now, this is right in Article 5 of our Constitution. We're not making this up, folks. This is right in Article 5. Article 5 describes two methods of amending the Constitution. The first method, of course, would be for amendments to come out of Congress. But the second method is calling for a convention of states where the state legislatures send delegates to a convention for the purpose of proposing amendments to the Constitution. Now, this has never been done before, but it's right in Article 5 of the Constitution. What's our plan? Our plan is to grow the grassroots army to bring this about, to get our state legislators to bring this about. We need to have 34 states call this convention, and we call it by passing a resolution to call for this convention. 15 states have passed this resolution calling for the convention. We need to get to 34. Yes, Indiana is one of those states. We were the 6th state to pass the resolution calling for the convention. So our plan is to work the state legislatures and get the required 34 states to call this convention of states. So that's what we're trying to accomplish, and that's what we're all about, folks. Now, I always like to mention this, that embedded in what we're all about in Convention of States is this thing called self-governance. This is what Article 5 is all about. It's we the people. And self-governance is getting involved in your government, be it at the federal level, be it state level, county level, city level, community level, whatever level is best suited for you. We encourage not only our leaders, but we encourage our supporters as well to get involved, because that's so important, and that is self-governance. Now, I want to tell you how you go about joining Convention of States. Here's this website again, national website, conventionofstates.com. Go to the national website, open an account, sign the petition. That makes you a supporter, and that's a very, very important step, and that's what we want. We want more and more supporters. Very important step. Now, if you're the type of individual that you want to get more involved, which would be great, click on the menu selection at the top, the selection called Take Action. Scroll down to where it says Become a Leader, and take a look at the various volunteer positions that we have available. That's right. We are all volunteers here in the state of Indiana for Convention of States. Every state, they're all volunteers. We're all volunteers. This is something that we all believe in very strongly. So take a look at all the different volunteer positions that we have. Now, I want to caution you that there's a time commitment involved here. Now, some of these positions require very little time. Others are going to require more and more time. So you're the only one that knows how much time you have to devote to Convention of States. So be sure you look at that when you read about the different positions. But if you're interested in a position, read about it and go ahead and make application. You're not obligated in any way. Don't worry about that. But when you make application, then your name comes up on a report that I and some others see every day. And one of us then will be in contact with you to talk to you further about what you're interested in doing. So very, very important, folks. And that's what we want to do, is we want you to go and join Convention of States and join the family here in Indiana and join us to bring about this convention and bring about this for the first time in our history. And that's what I like to close out on when you join us and you get involved in this movement. And we are going to make this happen. This is going to happen, folks. When we get to 34 states, we're going to call this convention. But when this happens, we're going to make history. Because, like I said, this has never been done before. Yes, there have been convention of states called for the purpose of solving particular problems. But there's never been an Article 5 convention of states called for the purpose of proposing amendments to the Constitution. So come and join us. Good way to start would be to join us on our virtual roundtable meeting next Monday evening and learn more about Convention of States. You get introduced to our region captains. So this will be a good time for you to get involved in Convention of States. And once again, join us because we're going to make history. With that, folks, I'm going to say good night to everyone. Thank you for joining in this evening, and see you next Monday evening at our roundtable meeting, 7 p.m. right here next Monday evening. Good night, everyone. Have a good evening.